Hi, this is Wani, and thank you for tuning into my channel. We tell funny stories here. The stories that we tell are real stories that actually happen. However, I warn you on the here and now that I am allowed to embellish, and for those of you who don't know what that means, it means I can lie. They're all based on real stories, but I embellish a little bit here and there, but I ain't going to tell you where the lie is. You got to figure it out yourself. I would love to tell some of your stories too. You can email me your stories at CDWanny at yahoo.com, or you can just message me on Facebook at Chris Wanamaker, and I'll be sure to include those in the description for you down there. Today's story is about best friends. I don't mean friends in the traditional sense. We all got friends that we grew up with, but more specifically cousins. And me and my cousin one day, we got together our tools and we were going to fix my uncle's car for him. And so we imparted upon this. It turned out to be an all-day affair. But the thing that makes it interesting is we were only 10 years old. And so you can imagine how this turned out. But I'll get to the story in a minute. Before we do that, I got to go over what I need from you guys. If you enjoy this channel, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. If you like it, it made you chuckle at all, give that like button a little tickle. And be sure and give a little ring on the bell. And that way you'll be notified as soon as more stories come out. But I hope you're going to enjoy this one. I'm really trying to get this channel off the ground. I did one video before this, and we picked up some subscribers, and I really appreciate that, guys. But we need more if we're going to get this thing going and get it off the ground so that I can later do promotions and giveaways. But anyway, that's my pitch, so on with the story. Like I was saying, we all had friends. When I was growing up, I lived in a neighborhood. We had a guy named Corky. The guy would do just about anything, and we kind of had to rein him in before he got us all arrested. There were parents on the block, and they were there not just to govern you, but to govern all the kids. If you got in trouble with one parent, you got in trouble with all the parents. You know, everybody had free license to just turn you over their knee and whoop you at any given time. That's the way it was. So Corky was our do-anything guy. We had another fellow, his name was Stinky. Yeah, we had interesting names. Stinky had a unique superpower. He could fart on command. I don't know where it ever came in useful, but when you're a kid, it's just funny to have a friend that can do that. We had another little kid named Jeffy. He was our enforcer. He was probably about a head taller than us and just built like a dump truck. Kid wouldn't hurt a fly, but he was just visually intimidating. My best friends of all, and I'm sure it's the same with a lot of you, had to be my cousins. I had my cousin Talisa. We did a lot of things, we got in considerable trouble together, and I'll be sure and bring her up later in other stories. My main cousin that was just primed for mischief, and we got in a lot of it, was my cousin Kim. Now there's a huge difference between me and Kim. I lived in the city. He'd come over to my house, and I'd teach him how to dodge cars crossing a busy street like a matador on any given bullfighting ring. He'd take me out to the farm, and he'd show me how to drop out of the rafters onto cows, and we'd play rodeo, until the cow got tired and scraped us off on the side, on the side of the fence. And, we always end up scraped and bleeding, but we never noticed. We were just having too much fun. Well, it was always a thing to get together with Kim because we lived such distances apart. And there was quite a bit of begging involved. My parents would go visit his parents or vice versa. And as soon as we got together, we'd start laying our plans. All right, well, you're going to spend the night at my house, I'll spend the night at your house. Okay, you go ask your dad, I'll go ask my dad. We'll get it done, and then we'd start making plans before we even asked. And we'd ask, and the parents would begrudgingly, do you want them? Well, let's send them out to the farm. They're less likely to get into any real trouble out there. Foolish parents. So we were out there playing on the farm, 10 years old, and through events that I'll go into. That's a whole nother story, but we had gotten our BB guns taken away from us for the day. And my uncle had actually inherited that house from his parents. And I'm not sure if I'm telling the story right, but I believe that the house came with a station wagon that just kind of sat out there by the barn. And there wasn't anything wrong with the station wagon. It looked good. The tires were pretty much inflated. We as kids would go play in it all the time, pretend like we're driving, and just have a time in it. And one day, well, after we got our BB guns taken away, Kim and I decided, wouldn't it be cool if we fixed up the station wagon and got it run for your Uncle Jerry? Or for my Uncle Jerry and your dad? Boy, I bet you he'd take us out for ice cream every day for the next month if we got this thing going. All right, we got to get our hands on some tools. Well, Kim goes, well, my dad has all the tools in the world out in the barn. So we went in the barn and we found just a myriad of everything that we needed and then some. We got every tool that we could carry and we brought it back out there to the station wagon with us. And then we started working on the engine as much as 10-year-olds can. And that amounted to us, just taking wrenches, pliers, whatever, unscrewing this, get a screwdriver, start doing this. And we figured if we took the engine apart, somewhere along the line, we could immediately see what the problem was. Then we'd put it back together and it would run perfectly. Well, we kind of got carried away. And as you're taking apart nuts and bolts, we went into the barn and we started gathering up, coffee cans because we were getting a bunch of nuts and bolts. We didn't want to lose them in the grass because then Uncle Jerry would be really mad. He's going to be happy that we fixed the station wagon, but if we lost nuts and bolts and weren't able to put it back together, he was going to be mad. And so we got all these coffee cans and we started unscrewing this, unscrewing that, looking for anything that could be wrong like we knew. This thing, instead of a station wagon, it may as well have been a space shuttle for all we knew. So we just busily started taking this and that, and we start bragging to each other, oh, look what I got off, this big old chunk of metal, something, I don't know what it was, I got no clue. And then things moved from the engine compartment to the rest of the car, and I'm yelling at Kim. I said, Kim, get over here, I almost got a door off, all I need is one more bolt, I need you to hold it for me. And we got the door off, and it was like, yeah, look at that, we got the door off. It was a major accomplishment for us. Well, the door was a big item, so Kim had to top me, and he goes, oh, I got the hood, and so we took the hood off. And we stripped down every door, every piece of metal that we could get our hands on that was held together with nuts and bolts. 20 coffee cans just full of nuts and bolts. 6 or 7 piles of metal sitting around this car. And we took off everything. We took it down to bare frame. We took out one of the seats in the back and got that out. The rest of the seats just stayed there. And then we eventually got bored with this and we went out and played. Then Aunt Connie, she's calling us in for dinner. Uncle Jerry comes home from work and we're all sitting around the table. Had a fantastic dinner. These are farm people, man, so we were like having fried chicken brought, straight from that hen house to the oven. And all the fixing go with it. We was having good. Uncle Jerry was tired. And how was your guys' day? Oh, we had a great time. We were shooting BB guns and we were playing with the station wagon and just having a good old time. And afterwards we went to our room, to our Kim's room, and we were goofing around, and Uncle Jerry walks up to Aunt Connie and goes, what do they mean they were playing with the station wagon? Oh, she said something about they were going to fix it for you. And I just told them not to get hurt and have fun. And so we could have told her that we were gonna go rob a bank, and she was just so happy to get us out of her hair and out of the house. She would have said, don't get hurt, have fun. And so he goes, they were working on the station wagon? Yeah, I think they were going to fix it. And at that point, Jerry gets a real worried look on his face, and it's nighttime now. And he goes walking out to the station wagon, and me and Kim can kind of hear this out the door, so we suddenly remembered what we had done to Jerry's station wagon, and we suddenly remembered what we had planned to do and what we actually did. and it was not pretty. So we're 10 years old, and this is like back in the 70s, and so we, two little 10-year-old kids with pig shaved heads, we're peeking out over the window, and all you see these little bald heads as we're peeking out the window, and we can see Uncle Jerry walking out to the station wagon, and we can see this flashlight just swinging in the dark. It gets to the station wagon. It points here. It points there. It points here. Back again. It starts going up and down really fast, and I can only picture Uncle Jerry jumping up and down with rage. Then the flashlight starts swinging around up in the air, and then it starts pointing again. Then it starts jumping up and down again. And finally, after about 10 minutes, the flashlight just goes down to the ground, and it comes walking back to the house. And I go, Kim, he looks mad. What should we do? And I turn around, and there ain't no Kim. And Kim. So I run in his bedroom, and there's Kim. He's packing all of his most prized possessions into a knapsack and tying them to a stick. Man, he's running away from home. We're out of there. Aunt Connie comes in, and she's got a couple sandwiches for us, and she's like, "Why are you guys still here?" Uncle Jerry come in, and he's holding the steering wheel and the flashlight. He's just shaking his head. He has nothing more he can say. He's just looking at the steering wheel, and he looks at us, looks at the steering wheel, and he says one word to us. He goes, "Woodshed," and points. Well, the next day we was out playing around. I was waiting for my mom and dad to come and pick me up, bring me home, and we ran into Kim's friend Merle. He lived down at the other farmhouse just down the road. And he come out and he goes, "Man, those coyotes sure were howling last night." And we thought that was odd because we was outside of the woodshed. We didn't hear no coyotes howling. Figured it had to come from somebody else or from something else. Didn't take long to figure out he was talking to us as we were getting our hides tanned. And then to add insult on injury, I get home and I got double punishment now coming from my dad. I'm back to the woodshed again. Not the woodshed back in town, but he had a paddle and he worked my butt over with that. And Jerry was Dad's brother, and so I got grounded for some indeterminate amount of time. And but it was kind of funny because Jerry was Dad's brother, and they really did love each other, but they took great joy in each other's misery at the same time. So as much as I'm being paddled and grounded about every week or so, Dad would go, "Tell me again about what you did to Jerry's station wagon. Really? How did he react?" It was just one brother taking joy in the other one's misfortune and misery. But anyway, that's two kids taking apart a station wagon that we had no business touching. I don't know, to this day, I don't know if it was just scrap sitting there, if Jerry planned on restoring it. I don't know if he planned on selling it. As far as I know, to this day, there's just this frame of a station wagon sitting out in that farmyard somewhere. Somebody else owns it now. I don't know whatever happened to it, but as long as I knew it was there, it just sat there. So anyway, if you enjoyed the story, be sure and hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. If you want to know when these videos go out, hit the bell. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.